Greetings and salutations, good people. I am your man, Nashan, and I am here at Lessons in Deeper Wisdom with my boy, Higher Thought. And today we have got a topic for you. We are going to be talking about meditation, how to get your mind right, how to get your spirit right in order to deal with this complex world that we're living in for today. So I will kick this over to my boy, Higher Thought. Talk to the people, HT.
What up, folks? It's me, Kimani, the light bulb of Higher Thought, or Higher Thought for short. We talking about meditation today. We're here for Lessons in Deeper Wisdom.
Ooh, that sounds deep.
It does.
I like that.
I'm ready to get deep. Think deep, talk deep. This is like stuff like this is like candy for me. You know, it's like brain candy.
Yeah.
My brain likes stuff to chew on. I like high level conversation. I get bored by 3D conversation. And, I think maybe that's why I like meditation a lot, because it allows me to be with my mind.
Do you mean you actually like being with yourself and recognizing who you are and dealing with your own mind? What?
Strangely, yeah. Yeah. Yes, I do. I know most people don't like that.
A lot of people don't go into that neighborhood because the mind is a dangerous place. And if you go there alone, it's sometimes dangerous for you. You might find things you're not really ready for. But yeah. I think meditation is a way of taking that journey and exploring that without actually, going without guidance. Number one, you can go with guidance, or you can go on your own and really sort of explore that stuff. But you're better at this than I am. What does meditation actually do for the individual? Why would you even get involved in this?
Well, the first thought that popped into my head was everything. Yeah. Because when you're dealing with the mind, you're dealing with the all. So,
well, hold up. What is meditation? First of all, because we talking about it, but somebody could be like, I'm on the bus and I'm listening to my music and jamming out. Is that meditation, or do I got to sit cross-legged and do the lotus pose and all that stuff?
So, there actually, let's actually have this because there's two definitions to me.
Okay.
There is the official definition, like the Webster's style definition of meditation, and they would say that it is to think deeply or focus one's mind for a period of time in silence or with the aid of chanting for religious or spiritual purposes, or as a method of relaxation.
Ooh, that's very Webstery.
Very Webstery. I like the wording. It's cool. Like, it sounds like, ooh.
You learned that in school.
Yeah. But for me, meditation is like art.
Okay.
And art can be anything. As long as there is a point of focus attached to it. And that point of focus a lot of times can be self-taught, self-given, or sometimes you are unaware that you are meditating.
Okay. You got to explain that one.
Because I had to learn that myself. I was unaware that what I was doing was meditating. So I would, as a kid, go outside, and I didn't have anybody to play with. No, I have friends. First of all, I did have friends. So, but if there were days where I would go outside and it would just be me, or my sisters or whatever. But I'm not playing basketball with my sisters, whatever. Right. Or the dog would be outside. I would, throw the ball at him and make him chase it or something.
Right.
But I would go outside and I would like to shoot. I would just work on my shooting. Right? Just consistently, just go to the same spot and shoot. In my mind, I called it practicing my free throws. Right? But as I did that, I would stand in the same spot. I would shoot continuously, for maybe like an hour straight sometimes. And I was thinking about something completely other than basketball.
Right.
It allowed me time I would process my thoughts, but I would think about whatever it is that I wanted to do during the day, or or if there was something that was heavy on my mind, that's when I would think about it and really meditate on it. But that basketball, just doing that motion and that shooting, that was my anchor. That was like my focus point in a way.
So you trance out shooting the baskets and the routine, and that allows your mind to kind of float on whatever topic you need to work through and should do that.
Yeah, it gave my body something to do, basically. It's like, here, body, do this. You go do over here and do this, and I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go over here into the mind, while body, you do this. You can sit here and chill. But yeah, no, I realized that what I was doing as a kid was meditating, actually, for a long time, or what I would be on punishment. I'm actually very thankful for the times now. Again, shout out to moms, okay?
Shout out to moms.
The mom put me on punishment, and so I wasn't allowed to watch TV or like play the game and, you know, do the fun stuff, right? But little did she know, I actually liked reading. I actually like just sitting there in my room alone by myself with my thoughts. So
I feel you on that. So, okay, one of the things that when I talk to people about meditation, one of the things they always have confusion about is, do I have to be still? Do I have to be, because I can't quiet my mind. I can't get my mind to just settle down in order to, to meditate, or get into that state.
So no, you don't have to just sit there. You can do movement-based meditation. Eventually, you should get to the point where you can actually sit and be. That does actually become a very important part of meditation, is actually being able to be still. So if you can't keep your body still, your mind will never be still, but it's also not a matter of, some people, when they meditate, they want their mind to completely shut off.
Right.
Because it moves so quick. And some people have a hard time catching that train. They just see it and like, oh, I can't jump on that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the merry-go-round, or the, what's the spinny thing at the park?
It's the merry-go-round.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we'll call it that, the merry-go-round. And when it's like spinning super fast, and you like want to get on it, but you're like, I can't get on that thing. I'd mess around and break something.
Yeah.
And so it kind of feels like that with the mind. So people feel like, well, I can't slow that down. I can't stop it. But then that's just you admitting to your mind that it has the control over you.
Are you implying that you should have control over your mind rather than your mind having control over you?
Absolutely.
Oh no, that's too hard, man. I'm a complete victim of the thoughts that come in my head. I have no control over them whatsoever. I am.
Which is fine. I mean, we can believe that because we're not often told that we have that control.
Well, we are conditioned to not have that control. That's part of the whole thing. Like, I think meditation is important, like you said, in order to get in touch with who you are. But I think more importantly, it's to get in touch with who you're not. Because a lot of times, like you said, that like the TV and the phone and movies and stuff like that are distractions that keep us programmed into what society says we're supposed to be. And meditation helps you to get past that and figure out who you actually are, which I think is the more important thing. That power that you get from self-knowledge, really understanding who and what you are, is far more important than, like just being able to sit and, and still, because, you're still, but if you don't know who you are, if you can't explore that, then you still think that, you're this being that's out of control.
Yeah. And I think it goes to one of those very old school quotes of, the shoes don't make the man.
Oh yeah.
You are not the clothes that you wear. You know what I mean? And we're in a world, especially now, where we are in the age of consuming. We're in the age of consumers, right? We consume, stuff. Whether it be food, just stuff, products.
I need a Gucci bag.
Yeah, like we're doing a whole lot of intake, right?
Yeah.
We're consuming content at an insane rate.
Yeah.
An insane rate. We're absorbing all of these frequencies, and people think that just because you can't see these things, that you're not absorbing them.
Yeah.
You are absorbing them. You are tuned into them. And so when you're absorbing so many things, so now you could think about everything that you absorb as an article of clothing. You're putting all these clothes on, but you don't know what you look like naked.
Yeah.
You taking a shower and you still got clothes on. You don't even know. You're not even clean.
So would you say that meditation is a way of exploring yourself in order to clear up the clutter of your mind?
Absolutely.
I dig that.
Be Eminem and clean out that closet.
We don't want to go in that closet, though. I mean, we might find things that, traumas and things we don't like.
Yeah, treat your mind like your room. You know, you make your bed. You make sure that your floor is cleaned up. You make sure everything is neat and in order.
Okay, well, I don't do that.
A lot of us don't. And it's funny because for me, clutter is just like, I'm really good at keeping my room clean and organized. It would just be my clothes. You know what I mean? Like I come home, I check, like clothes. I mean, at the end of the night, I clean stuff up. Put them in the hampers and whatnot. But
I call my house controlled chaos. There's always something going on. There's always something wild going on. There's something everywhere, but it's not dirty, but it's just busy. You know what I'm saying? So like when my desk, when at my job, you come to my desk and there's just papers everywhere. There's stuff everywhere, and they're like, "Well, how do you know where anything is?" I'm like, "Oh, well, this is there, this is there, this is there. I can find anything on it, but it's a controlled chaos." You know what I mean?
Controlled chaos is actually good. Yeah. Sometimes it actually helps the mind because you can find your way through the fog,
right?
In a way, especially when it's your fog,
right?
You know,
right. So like with meditation for me is like, it's not. I don't look at meditation as a way to bring clarity to everything, to organize everything and make it neat and clean and orderly. It's more of creating connections to all the different aspects of me.
I was gonna say it's you.
Yeah.
It's all you. Your mind is all you.
Yeah.
You know, some people, their mind might be mounds of dirt. Maybe that might be something that they like. I don't know.
I got a dirty vibe, but you ain't got to bring it up like that, man.
No, I'm just saying.
Calling me out.
Maybe they like dirt. Maybe they like dirt mounds. I don't know.
I look at it like you see like I study the brain a lot, and I'm weird like that. But in the brain, I know, right? So you got like these neural connections, and they all seem random because they're like kind of all over the place. But when you pull out and you see the whole thing, it takes on the shape of a brain. It's always the shape of a brain, but it's if you zoom in, it looks like just a sea of chaos of neurons just firing electricity back and forth between. But it's organized in ways that don't seem linear. Like we like things linear, and that's not how it is.
Very non-linear. Like if you like the connections that the neural pathways, right? It's not like all right, here's a straight line. They shoot. All these other, it's like, there are no traffic lights. Like how does traffic like this work? Because there's no lights, there's no stop, there's no flow. They just fire, and they're right. It's like, whoa.
So I see meditation as sort of you becoming the traffic cop. There's no lights, but the traffic cop tells people when to go and when to stop. So if I'm meditating and I'm having that running thoughts, because I am manic like all the time. So when I try to meditate, my brain just starts cycling through things. I become the traffic cop, and I'm like, okay, thank you for bringing that to me. Dismiss that for right now. I'll talk to you later. And then for you, okay, you can come through because I need to mull through this and figure this out. You are just negative. I don't need you. You can go ahead and go over there, and you just sort of direct things, and and during your meditation to kind of make it so that I'm in control at all times. Of like, okay, this is what I'm allowing myself to think about. This I'm going to say thank you and move on. You know what I mean? So you don't stop your mind from thinking, but you just control what you let in and what you don't.
Yeah, and that's a great segue into how I actually got started into making my own meditations.
Yeah.
Because when I really got deep into it, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna start, trying to do guided meditation. So I went on this whole YouTube binge, trying to find any and everything I could, and
guide me, show me the way.
Yeah, show me, sensei, and I began to find, I was like, this isn't really working for me. It didn't really work for me like I thought it would, because it worked for other people and I thought it would work for me. And I was confused, like, okay, well, maybe I'm doing this wrong. And I was like, okay, well, if you felt like either I'm doing this wrong or they're doing this wrong, or I need to do my own in a way that'll work for me.
Right.
I know how my mind works. I know what will fit well for me. So, okay, well, then make one. Since they can't do it right, then you do it. That's the way I feel. You know, somebody
gotta
wants to
dare
tell
yourself.
somebody, yeah, like if I go to McDonald's and I'm mad at how they did my fries, well, then maybe you should go do your own French fries.
There you go. I feel you.
So, all right, well, instead of being mad at them for how they do things, why don't you go and do it for yourself and see how it is for a change?
Right.
And maybe then you will learn. Maybe you will learn what it is that you're supposed to be doing. Maybe you'll learn what it is that you're doing wrong and why you can't do the guided meditations that you find, since none of them seem to work for you.
I feel you. I feel you.
And so I did. I began to write my own meditation script in a way that would guide me that I liked.
Okay.
And I did it in a way, I took the position of I didn't want to control. I didn't want to control from the guide's point of view.
Right.
I didn't want to go into the mind with the idea of controlling and telling you what to do in your mind.
Right.
So I kind of had to separate myself a little bit. And the first one I came up with, it was kind of basically like a mind clearing meditation. And in a way, like you're saying, becoming the traffic cop, right? Of making, let me just see if I could do the simple thing of slowing down, speeding up, and controlling, you know, what thoughts I want to talk to right now and or not.
Right.
And so I did that, and it was an experience. It became an experience, but it was like building your own Grand Theft Auto world.
Okay, I don't know if I want to have my meditation be like, where's Franklin at?
Yeah, no. Now you got to do all these side missions.
You know what I'm saying? I got this wild stuff going on.
Yeah, no, but it was cool because it was it allowed me to be free within my own mind,
right?
But actually rebuild my mind the way I wanted it to be, and instead of placing myself and saying, "Hey, you're a traffic cop," it's just say, "Hey, you're in control of." You can send a representative out there if you want to, or you can walk out there yourself. You could, if you want, you could sit. Have it. I'm not saying this in as many words, but in as little words, so that you can understand that, hey, if you want to, you could just build yourself a chair, sit in it, and be comfortable sitting there sipping a pina colada while the traffic person that you send out handles the business of, all right, you can go over here and talk to them now.
Yeah.
Or no, y'all keep it moving. All right, everybody go. Move fast. All right, everybody stop. We just gonna sit here for a while.
I feel you.
Like you have that. I want to give that control, and then you can get up and you can go do it yourself if you want.
Right.
If you don't want the representative, and that representative could be anything. It could be a light. It could be a sign that changes. It could be an animal. It could be whatever it is you want. You can see your thoughts as whatever you want.
Okay, so now you're getting into visualization. So like when you're meditating, do you do a lot of visualization, or is it more like, are you just kind of letting things happen, or are you actively visualizing what you want to, how you want to control it?
It depends. So, because not everybody's good at visualizing.
Right.
So I always take that into account. So I still give them prompts to do things, but you don't have to visualize.
Right.
So it gives you the option to do both in a way.
Okay.
So it doesn't necessarily leave you hanging if you can't visualize it.
Okay.
So I tried to be very, very careful with my words to make the meditation as universal as possible.
Okay.
So that even if you struggle with visualizing, you could at least try to picture it, and even if it doesn't work, it doesn't leave you hanging in a way. You still get that feeling. There's other ways that you can. Some people unknowingly you kind of gravitate back to what helps you meditate, like your way of telling and feeling or hearing or seeing whatever it is that it is for you, whatever the sensations are. It just kind of comes out naturally, and that's kind of what I like to try to draw out, so that you can meditate your way, not my way, even though my way is trying to make it your way.
Okay. Well, I do. I started out with guided meditations because I have the difficulty controlling my mind sometimes. We're used to, at least, have a real difficulty with controlling how many thoughts came in. So I started out with someone taking me on, because I like a story. I like to listen to a good story. So if I can get someone to guide me on that meditation, I'm basically going along with the story. It's sort of a
man, do I have a meditation for you?
So for me, I like to be able to let go of that control
and just kind of go with where they're taking me on this journey. So a lot of guided meditations worked for me, at least in the initial, and then I got to the point where I was able to do like you did. I mean, probably a little bit later than you did, to actually write my own and sort of guide myself, figure out where I want to go, figure out the words I want to use to get me there, and then write my own. So, and especially when I started teaching, it was like, okay, this is where we're going where we're going as a journey, and these are the milestones we want to hit on the way there. So we're going to give you all these details to help visualize in your mind where we're going and bring milestones. Sort of like, a lot of times you start in an open field, so you're in a place that is familiar to everybody. It's grass, there's trees at the distance, you're in an open field. And in the middle of this field, you see a tree. And at that tree, the base of that tree, is a tunnel that leads down. And then you start the journey going down this tunnel, which is literally taking your mind to a lower and lower vibration. So your heart rate goes down, you're chilling out a little bit more, you're relaxing a little bit more. And then you take them down through that tunnel. In that tunnel, you go through the next door, which is another milestone that opens the door into the inner self, and then you go from there. So for me, it was very much those sorts of milestones in the meditation made it easier for me to stay in the story, stay in the flow, and not meander. Because, it's real hard to think about like your phone bill. When somebody's in your ear talking about this ornate door that you're visualizing in your mind. And from there, going through this door into a completely different place. So it helps to keep me on track. So
I like that. And there's other ways that I touch or tackle those methods of meditation. So even with the mind clearing one, like that's one way, right? And that's actually a little bit more traditional. Right. Yours is, I would say, somewhat traditional, but it gives that extra flair to it. You know what I mean? Structure. Yeah. And so I've been able to create, when I say, man, I got a meditation for you, because I have some that I call it more of a meditative experience.
I dig it.
And I've actually took this on stage and performed them.
Ooh.
And I took meditation to the performance space, which, yeah, you have people who will go and do like a seminar or something like that, and they're like, all right, we're gonna meditate. It's like, cool, but like, no, like this was performative in a way. I made it performative, and the feedback that I got was so shocking to me. But I literally take you and place you in an immersive story.
I dig that.
And it is so...
You're speaking to my heart now. I love ritual. You're speaking to my heart on that one.
Man, it is so amazing to where it's like, I wouldn't know the first one I made, I wouldn't know what to put in the Google to look for. So in my mind, I out Google. So like, I let people, like, I feel like I'm the first person to out Google.
Out Google. I like that.
Out Google. So to me, it was cool, because even when I made it, I was still trying to wrap my mind around it. And then when other people heard it, they was like, yo, like, this is amazing. What is it?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure that out for myself.
Some people thought it was poetry. Some people thought it was a story. Some people thought it was this. Some people were like, yo, I love the music. Some people didn't even hear me talking.
I dig that.
And I was like, at that point, I didn't even want to put a name on it. I said, I am just going to make this an experience, and I don't want to because if I put a name on it, it limits it. Yeah. And I felt like this is a piece that is so unlimited. I don't even know, like, and people are like, well, how did you write this? Because some people thought it was about love, or somebody else, well, who was this about? I said, it's not about anybody. Actually, when I initially wrote it, it wasn't about anybody.
I dig that.
What inspired it was I met a composer, actually at one of the filmmaker mixers.
Okay.
I met a composer, and I listened to some of his music, and there was a piece that he was working on, and he said it wasn't finished, but I listened to it, and I was like, I can write a story to this.
Yeah.
Somehow, like, because so when I listen to music, I see colors. Mm-hmm. I hear sounds as colors, feelings. I can get stories. I can get an entire movie out of like everything I get from music. It just translates. I get just translate it into whatever I want in a way. And I don't know how it works. It just does. And so I said, you know what? Well, I'm going to write out. I'm just going to write. I just listened to it. I'm just going to write what I see.
Yeah.
So I wrote out what I saw, and I'm just going to cheat and say that what it initially felt like I was doing was going from the memory. It was kind of about based in memory, right? In childhood memory. Mm-hmm. And it could be translated to any memory, but this one was specifically childhood, and it was tied to the saxophone. So I actually wrote it about the saxophone, and I was like, okay, well, what is it about this saxophone that I love so much? And it's like, it kind of felt like a childhood memory of where, like, if like a child hearing the saxophone for the first time and then falling in love with it.
Okay.
So they heard it, they fell in love with it, and then now they're, you know, a little bit in the future, they're still a child, but they're like, man, they're sitting down, and they're like, I want to hear that sound. Like, they're thinking about that moment.
That pure moment.
That pure moment. And but it's, how do you actually get there? How does that memory formulate? What does it feel like to be in each aspect of that memory? And within that journey, I actually take you through the process of recouping that memory piece by piece, sound by sound, moment by moment. And then I'm actually dissecting the music as it goes.
That's deep.
It is so insane. Like, I'm not a person who likes to boast a lot and whatnot, but this piece is so insane that I do so many things with it that I uncover stuff every time I hear. I'm like, wow.
I'm going to give you another word for that. It's not insane. It's profound. It's profound.
Yes. Okay.
It's one of those.
I will take that.
Because we get so caught up in using words like amazing and all these words that demonstrate excitement for mundane things in order to make them seem better than they are, so that when we actually encounter something that's truly profound, it sort of shakes the foundation. It seems abnormal. It seems out of there, outside the norm. So it's what touching on something like that transcends this physical world. It transcends the mundane. Yeah. So
and I think that was a moment for me to realize that I was doing something that I didn't know I was necessarily capable of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I also couldn't teach somebody how to do it. I can't. It's just, to me, it's like magic in a way. It's like mind magic, and it's like, yo, what? How do you do something like that? How do you just know? How do you just feel? And I wrote it, and they were like, well, how long did it take you to write? Well, I'm not going to say on there how long it took me to write that, because then people will really be like, okay. But no, like, it's just that.
When you're connected and it flows, it won't necessarily take long, or it could be pieces that you get over a course of years, but it's never something that, like, you can put a defined time frame on. Like, I wrote this in 5 minutes, or I wrote this in 6 hours, or whatever. It comes when it comes.
Yeah. So and it's like that. And as a writer, it's worked like that on a lot of projects. And on that one, it just flowed, And then there's other pieces that I've written that's taken, like, that I wrote 2 years ago, then I come back to, like, you know what? Let me add this to it, and then it becomes something. And then there's pieces that I can write now where I'll, depend on what the project, like, say it's something similar to that, I'll write the music, I'll hear the music, and this is going to a different form of the guided meditations that I would do involving music, and I would just, and it's for the thinkers.
Right.
It's for the thinkers. And it more or less gives you something to think about. It doesn't have to be visual at all.
Okay.
It could be straight logical thinking, and it's mostly questions of giving you things to think about. And it's kind of like, yeah. And you don't have to listen to them all, but wherever your brain stops, wherever you hear a question where you're like, I don't know, well, then that's where you can trail off and do what your mind wants to do.
Right.
And there's no stop signs, there's no green lights, there's no red lights, there's no slowdowns. There's just moments for you to have those thoughts, and the music keeps going so that the words can drown out. I'm okay with you not hearing me.
Okay.
I'm 1,000% okay with you not hearing me, because that means
you're contemplating.
You're contemplating, or you're in a state. You're already in that state, and
right.
interesting to see how quickly people get into that state off of those meditations, that it amazes me in a way.
That. Well, okay, so this is great. I love meditation. You love meditation. This is all good. You know, what's the point? What sort of internal things can we get? What sort of gems can we give the people to, you know, to incentivize them to want to do meditation? So like, what are they going to get out of it?
So it's funny you asked that, because that's actually one of the first questions that I ask the people that come to me and ask to teach them how to meditate.
Okay.
Because one of the biggest things that I have with meditation is that it should be done with intention. Because when you're doing it with intention, it takes away that room for you to get lost in your mind. And you lose that structure a little bit sometimes. Like you said, the mind is a dangerous place.
Yes, it is.
It's a dangerous place. And depending on who you are and what you've been through in life, there's a lot of trapdoors when you go into that world that you can fall into. Some people go into a psychosis because you catch a train of thought and you let it take over.
Yeah.
And so I like to be very, very careful and delicate with how I deal with other people's mind if it's me teaching them how to meditate.
Right.
But for people themselves, you can gain whatever you want in a way from meditation. So if you want to learn more about yourself, then let it be that. But I think you should at least learn the basics of meditation first, so that you can have the framework to go off of, the basis to go off of, because you can't really go mess around in a house that's not built, or that's poorly built, or you don't really know your way around yet. Welcome to halftime. Give yourself and your mind a moment to rest. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose. And slow, deep breath out through the mouth. Focus only on your breath. Take another slow, deep breath in. And another slow, deep breath out. Feel better? Good. We want to take this moment to thank you for listening and watching this podcast. We hope you take something positive from it. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment your light bulb moments. We also want to thank one of our biggest sponsors that make this podcast possible, Podcastic. Check them out at podcasticlife.com. Back to the wisdom.
Well, okay. So if you're starting out,
Okay.
you haven't really figured out, you know, what it is you're trying to do, and you're about to do this exploration. You want to start with the basic techniques that people learn. Let's say they get past that. They get past the basic techniques. They want to figure out who they are. They want to figure out how to do that exploration. What kind of meditation would you recommend for somebody that's saying like, okay, I'm into it. I know how to do it now, but I want to figure out how to find out who I am deep inside. How do you go about that?
That is a
loaded question. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, it
loaded
is.
question, but that would be a question that someone would ask. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to that, I would say, yeah, it's a loaded question, but that is a journey.
Yeah.
It is a very long journey. I would say it's a never-ending journey. But it comes to understanding not just who you are, but what you are.
That's what I'm talking about right there. Because a lot of people, a lot of people I talk to, they get into this whole idea of like, oh, I know who I am. Well, you can't. Okay, and people say that, oh no, I know, I'm different.
And that's why it's a never-ending journey.
Right, you're constantly changing. You're constantly changing. So how do you know who you are from moment to moment? You're constantly evolving and changing and growing. Literally, your body swaps itself out every 7 years. So your brain is different. All your cells have died and become new ones. In 7 years, everything about you changes. So you have to understand the nature of continual growth in order to understand who you are becoming. And I think that's a better way of looking at it than who you are based on your past. That person is You are the sum of your past, but that person that you are is only good for the moment that you're in right there. In 10 minutes, you're going to be a completely different person. So if you look towards who you're becoming rather than who you are, you're not stuck in the past trauma. In my mind, you're more engaged in controlled growth, controlled evolution of who you are. So it's less about what happened to you and who you've been and, you know, mistakes you made or whatever, and more about who you're becoming and choices you're going to make going forward.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Because that's all you got. Forward is the only place you can go is forward.
Yeah.
That's it. You just go straight. That's kind of why I get annoyed with traffic on the freeway. It's like, you can only go straight. Just go. What are we doing here?
I want to stop right here and look at this accident that's over there, and this tree looks real nice, and there's some birds over there on that pole. So I think distractions, like distractions, keep us rooted in the mundane, but meditation helps us to explore the truth of who we are. And for me, the purpose of meditation is to explore the truth. It's always to find truth about you, about your journey, about what reality is, about all of this stuff. Meditation is a way of figuring out what's true and what's programming. Because like we think I'm in complete control of who I am. Complete control. And then you start to look at, why do you like the things that you like? Why do you act the way that you act? And you start to realize that you're conforming to ideas and constructs that your parents may have decided because they're tradition. You're conforming to ideas and constructs that society may have decided because that's what makes the most people comfortable. You're conforming to fashion ideas because that's what you think people might like.
Yep.
You're even picking spouses based on the experiences you've had with your own parents and what your concept of love is built upon, because that's what you saw coming up, is this is what love is. Short story, young lady I was dealing with, she was a student of mine, and she came in and told me, I will never, I can't find a decent man. Every man that I find is abusive and a drunk, and he's blah 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 blah. And she's like, you give me a room full of 100 men, I'm gonna find the two assholes that are in there, and those are the ones I'm gonna pick. And I said, okay, well, let's start with your concept. What do you consider to be, a good guy, a high guy? And she starts giving this explanation, and 10 minutes into it, I'm like, so you want someone who's aggressive? You want someone, you like to drink, so you want someone who drinks with you? You want someone who's, a man's man? What do you consider a man's man? And she immediately started talking about her dad. And I was like, and so 5 minutes into it, I'm like, okay, so you're talking about this man's man, and you're talking about, aggressive. Let me guess, did your father beat up on your mom a bit? And she was like, well, they got into fights. I'm like, did your dad beat your mom up? And she was like, well, yeah. And I'm like, so your concept of what a man is and what love is defined by what you have seen as in your formative years as a construct of what a man is. And that was formed by your dad. He showed you what love is. Love is you get drunk and smack your lady. So you seek out patterns that match that particular mindset. So when you go look in a room, you can't even see the nice guy. You can't even see the guy who's got a decent job and wants to treat you right, because he's boring. He doesn't hit that mentality that you've already formed, that idea that you've already formed about what a man is, and therefore you exclude him. There's a part of your brain called the reticular activating system. Coolest part of the brain ever, because it literally is the reason why when you buy a new car or you buy a new pair of shoes or whatever, you start seeing them everywhere. Yep. That's the part of the brain that filters what you see and what your brain says is important. So when you're talking about like who you are as a person, your reticular activating system literally shows you things that you've already seen, patterns you've already formed in your mind. So when you see that person that matches the pattern of what you consider to be love, even if it's negative or abusive or whatever, you literally go after that person. You can only see that person. So that's why you keep running into the same woman or man all the time. Through meditation, you can start to actually see those sorts of, like you said, trap doors that are built into your programming that say, okay, this is what reality is supposed to be. And you can explore that truth of what that is and decide, is this who I want to be for real? Is this really who I'm choosing to go forward as? And through meditation, you make that choice, and you can literally reprogram your own brain.
Yeah.
Which I think that's the best, to me, that's the most important part of this whole meditative structure, is to figure out who you are, not just who you are, but who you are choosing to be from that moment forward, and taking control of that.
And that, I think, is some of the biggest, I think that's one of the biggest reasons I like the more thoughtful meditations, the ones that aren't as visual. They're just more or less me speaking and kind of asking questions for you to think about, because it really makes you look inside. It really makes you look and think about things for a minute, and go back through those structures in the mind, and find those trapdoors and figure out what programs you've been running. This entire time. You know what I mean? So it that way you can begin to deprogram yourself, which takes time. It takes time, and I think some people don't understand that. No, it actually takes time to deprogram, because you'll default. I'm sorry,
HT, but I need some instant gratification here. Can't you show me a meditation that's gonna make me perfect?
Absolutely not.
I want that instant gratification, bro. Come on.
It doesn't work like that. We're not feeding that part of the brain. This is not Instagram with the likes. This is not your social media clicks.
I can't get my social media on here.
Listen, man, the instant gratification is gonna ruin you, man. That's like cocaine. That is cocaine. Okay, we do not do those kind of drugs. All right.
I feel you.
We like the drug of life. Okay, but.
So you're asking me to actually do some work on myself, to be responsible for my own mental development, and
fortunately, yes.
I don't know, HT. You asking a lot.
I mean, hey, well, that's what I do. I ask a lot. That's how I got here. I asked a lot of questions. There was a lot of whys.
Yeah, there you go.
A lot of whats, a lot of who's, I got out of asking for the wins.
Okay.
Which has actually helped a lot. Because the win's actually always now.
Yeah.
That's one thing I learned. Win is always now. Win now.
Yeah.
So if you look into the past, you're moving backwards in a way, unless you're looking for a way to help you.
Yeah.
To move forward. And you will never get to the future. Physically. Physically in the 3D. In the 3D,
you'll get there, but you're gonna look different when you get there. I mean, you got to go the long way around.
Yeah. So I mean, you'll always be now. It's a gradual process. You're always now. But yeah, and I think a lot of people have trouble being now. A lot of people have trouble being present.
But I got to worry about what I'm gonna do at my job tomorrow, and I got to worry about.
But that's tomorrow.
But when I was younger, I had a bully, and they said some bad things about me.
And that was younger. Yeah, who cares about the bully? Where are they now?
Well, I haven't seen them in 40 years, but you know what I'm saying.
See, look at that.
But I still be thinking about them.
You be thinking about them. Now they living rent free in your head. See, they ain't even paid. They ain't paid nothing. They ain't paid the utility in that mind or nothing.
I don't know, but you're talking about getting rid of all my excuses, though.
Yeah, you got to put those in the garbage, not the recycle bin, the garbage.
I like my excuses. They give me a reason not to change.
Well, hey.
My excuses give me an excellent reason not to change. I can stay me, and then have all the reasons why. You know, my life is the way it is. I feel you on that. So, okay. So we talked about, what meditation is. We talked about what meditation can do for us as individuals.
Yes.
Now we got to do the deep dive here.
Yes.
We got to go deep.
Oh,
we got to go
man.
deep. So what does meditation do for everything else, for our experience of reality?
Meditation can completely change the way you experience reality. And I say that because if you get into the deep, metaphysical teachings, and you learn a lot. You learn a lot.
Yes, you do.
You learn A whole lot. You learn actually that you don't know much.
What are you saying, man? I know. I'm a grown man. I know everything. I've learned nothing at all. But I think I do. I think I know everything.
Yeah, you learn that you don't know much. You know, I might have those light bulb moments, and I might go by higher thought. But the higher thought is there's a lot of thoughts out there, and there's a lot of things out there that are to be known that are not.
It's aspirational.
Yes.
It's aspirational to think. So, like, for me, like, the way I see this, I see everything like, we'll get into this into later episodes, the principles of the Kabbalion, the 7 principles of the Kabbalion.
Yeah, because the first one I was going to go there, all is mine. But
Exactly. So, like, that, my connection is always, I see everything like you were talking about in the vibration. So, like, the way you see music, I see everything. Like, all of reality is this vibrational wave, this symphony that's going on of a universal vibration. Through meditation, it's sort of like you stepped on stage. When you go into a meditative state, you step on stage with the band. You know, the band is already playing. Okay, you got your instrument, and now you're trying to jump in. You know what I'm saying? So, like, they're like, okay, you don't necessarily get a solo, but you can jump in and bring your harmony to what's already out here at a higher level. So when I think of meditation, I think of walking on that stage, listening for a moment to kind of get the rhythm, you get the beat going, you see where where things are going, and then you jump in with your guitar or your drums or whatever else, and you find the beat, and then you get on beat with everybody else.
Yep.
And so the universal flow is already there. You're just trying to jump in and get on flow with it. And when you get connected to that higher vibrational state, by bringing your mind into that higher state, you are now connected to everything else, which gives you a whole lot of insight into the triviality of this mundane world, of this 3D world. And you start to let things be, in my mind, I guess the best way to put it is like you give less weight to unimportant things. So when people say, like, why are you so chill? Why is it that nothing bothers you?
Man. Okay, so I'm not the one who got, like, I've had a boss walk up to me once, and he was like, hey, man, like, nothing ever rattles you. Like, you're always just so cool. Like, how are you like that? I'm like, I just am.
Yeah.
I just am. He was like, well, how do you teach that to people? I said, that's actually a really good question.
I think there'd be a whole lot less drama in the world. Like, if people, sort of adopted that mentality of like, not just like, I'm not going to let anything rattle me. Like, I'm just going to internalize everything. That's not what I'm talking about.
No, there's a difference.
But like, okay, here's an example. I told some of my students before, like, when you have a problem, like say you have a bill you can't pay, wait till it's a dark night. Okay, go outside. And I want you to look up at the stars, just stare off into space. Just look at the sky and think about the fact that you're on a spinning rock in the middle of our solar system, orbiting the sun, and then pull out from there and see our entire solar system and the Kuiper Belt and our galaxy. And I want you to see our galaxy as one dot in this infinite sky of galaxies and lights. And then I want you to come all the way back down to this moment in this room that we're in right now, or outside where we're at right now, and then tell me how important your phone bill is.
And it's funny that you mentioned that, because every now and then I'll get that as a passing thought, and for me it's usually as a reminder, and I usually I'm thankful for the reminder.
Right.
And this is, if not yesterday, the day before, I was driving home and I was on the freeway. And I don't know if it was dark, the lights, you get your random lights or whatever on the freeway. And it was just like, man, I feel like it was almost video game like. I'm like, I am in this body, driving this vehicle. I'm in a vehicle, driving a vehicle on this planet in space. Yeah. And it's like, that is so crazy. Like, it is so wild. Like, it was so wild. I was like, this is so cool.
Exactly. It is. And,
this is so cool.
That's what I'm saying. Like you were saying before, like you're always in the now. When you're always in awe of the amazement and amazement about what life actually is, you're in that state where you really understand how miraculous your existence is every moment of every day. then it changes your perception of how you see everything else in the world. And I think that's the gift of meditation, is that when you start to make that connection at that higher vibration, you start to really realize, you step back from the video game and you start to see how profound it is just to be here, to experience this, to be able to laugh and cry and drive cars and, have fun and do all this crazy stuff that we get to do without the burden of making it monumentally important because society says it's supposed to be important. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's fun. I think one of the questions that people should ask is, who is the authority in your life?
Ooh, that's a dangerous question to ask, because most people gonna lie. I mean, for real.
Yeah.
Most people gonna lie. Be like, I'm the authority in my life. Are you really?
Yeah.
If somebody can sit across from you and say one or two words that set you off and get you in, trouble because you ready to fight, are you in control or are they in control? They can literally make you do whatever, because they can push whatever button you got and make you act like a little puppet.
Yep. So that, and who's the authority in your life, and where do your ideas come from?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where does the narratives that you give yourself or that you tell yourself every day come from?
Yeah.
Who's saying that? And some people, I have a conversation a lot with some people, especially when they're discouraged, right? We all have those moments.
Yeah.
And there's a moment of people like, well, I can't, or I don't want, or I don't feel like I can do this, or I'm not good at anything. And it's like, the only person that's saying that is you.
Yeah. I will say this: greatest gift the United States Marine Corps ever gave me is, I tell people, they take you in, there's a room they take you in the Marine Corps, and there's a big mirror in it, and they split you open, from your toes to the top of your head, and they open you up and they show you exactly who you are. They test you and they try you and they push you. They try to break you to see if you're breakable. And if you break, well, then you can't be a Marine. But if you don't, you know exactly what you're capable of. And that eliminates words like can't, impossible. It takes those out of your vocabulary, because you realize there's nothing I can't do. I can do anything. And I'd say that was the greatest gift that the Corps ever gave me. It's not, the fighting skills and all that stuff. It's literally just understanding on a deeper level who I am and what I'm capable of, and not just imagining. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think, and it's that, and being capable of anything doesn't necessarily mean, some people confuse that with every single thing will be a success.
Yeah, or easy.
Yeah, or easy. Because there's times where you're gonna have to persevere and push through, and it's that thought that you can do anything that actually helps you get through that and break through that. Because a lot of times you get into a mode of trying to do something, and if it doesn't go the way that you thought it was going to go, you felt like it was a failure.
Well, yeah.
And when it's really was just a learning experience, so that now you have something to build off of the next time you go do it, because you can do anything. You just missed a step here.
Right.
Or if not missed a step, it just wasn't ready for you yet.
Or it wasn't the right time.
It wasn't the right time.
Yeah.
You had a little growing to do. Which it doesn't mean that you shouldn't have did what you did. You learned from it.
It was necessary.
It was necessary. You learned from it. There's not one time where I did something error and I didn't do as well, and I was like, oh man, I was like, no, I'm excited. You just gave me a free try.
There you go.
You gave me a free try, and I felt like I did pretty well with the free try.
There you go.
So now when I get a real try, I know I'm gonna knock it out the park. I know I'm gonna knock it out the park.
You mean if I try something and it don't work, I can do it again?
Yeah, you gave me a free try.
Oh,
you know
man,
what I mean?
see?
Imagine being in school and you fail a test and you
out.
You out.
You out.
You out. But you wish you could go to that teacher like, okay, please, if I just get one more chance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know I could pass. I studied. I know I could do it.
You got to work on the next one.
You got to work on the next one.
And that's life, to be honest. I mean, people think you're supposed to be perfect and you're supposed to know everything or be able to do everything. There like a short story. My cousin Jana, phenomenal artist. I love her work, and I wanted to be able to draw. That's like the thing I've been craving. Like my mom, was an artist. My sister was an artist. So like I really wanted to be able to create the way they create. So I was like, let me try this drawing thing. And Jana told me, she's like, if you try drawing for a month, you'll get better. And I said, okay. And I sat down and I said, I'm gonna draw. And I did for a month, solid. Every single day, multiple times a day, I was drawing. I had my little drawing pad and everything. And I did get better. And then I realized I can technically get better, but I do not have her talent. Okay. She could sit there and doodle and make perfection. And I mean, something that's, that she considers trivial is something it would take me years to be able to complete.
Yeah. Some people just have a gift and a talent.
Right. And it was okay. It was hard for me to say it, but I got to be okay with that's not me. That's not my vein. But I can stand in front of a group of 200 people and give a speech. You know what I mean? Where most people wouldn't be able to do that. Yeah. And everybody's got their own talent. You got to realize sometimes, yes, you're right. If the lesson is that's not for me, or that's not what I'm good at, or the lesson is I can do that, I just got to put more work into it. You won't know that unless you actually make that attempt. And I think meditation gives you that knowledge of self to be able to tell the truth about who and what you are. Like, is this something I'm going to do for the next 10 years, or is this something I really want to do? And the truth is, I like the idea of art and drawing and all that, but it's not my passion. It's not what I want to do. This is what I want to do.
Right.
I want to, take these downloads that I've been getting, and I want to give them to the masses and let people see what it is that we're doing to help people to grow. And as I've told everybody, my goal is nothing less than evolving the human species. I want something that we create to evolve humans into better and better beings. And I think, you got a line on it that meditation is one way to go about doing that.
Yeah. And that's why I even put that it's just one facet of doing things. Like, one of my goals is I just want to help expand consciousness and raise our consciousness, like you said. And to me, that's my way of advancing the human species. Get
people on that vibration of higher thought.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, and one of my things was when I first started doing the higher thought thing. It was if you think higher thought is about just being high on the drug, you got to think higher than that.
You got to think higher than that.
You got to think higher than that. So
I know people they're going to be like, higher thought, this dude is blazing. Yeah. I know you on that stuff.
And I've never smoked a day in my life.
For real?
Never smoked a day in my life.
I wish I could say that.
Yeah. But I have taken edibles before, but I've never smoked a day in my life.
I found out that, and don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit up here and tell, if you smoke, you're a bad person. No. That's not what I'm saying at all. No. What I'm saying is, I've tried it. And, and I've done it a couple times, and even for recreational purposes. But in all honesty, I'm better sober. I'm better, I love exploration and logical thought and exploring these types of topics and having this spiritual exchange where I don't have any interference from anything else. So, I'm the livest at the party when I ain't had nothing to drink. You know what I'm saying? So,
hey, high off life is a thing.
It's for real. It's for real. So, I mean, I'm not knocking nobody who smoke, but just understand.
Yeah, I get high off thinking. So I love it. I love thinking. I love thought. It's my favorite pastime. To me, it's my video games.
I dig that.
Yeah, thoughts is my video games, and sometimes writing is the way that I play it. So yeah, I don't know.
I think
that's my thing on meditation.
I dig that. Like I said, I think we've got some good groundwork, and we've got some meditations that we're going to definitely, we're going to come back to the subject. I can see it. We're definitely going to come back to this.
I can't wait I got to let you hear the, I'm going to call them thinkitations.
Thinkitations. I like that. Thinkitations. So we're going to definitely explore this again. For those of you who are just joining us, we're actually about to wind this down. But
yes, sir. We got about a minute.
Yeah, we got about a minute. We've been discussing meditation. We've been discussing higher thought, the deeper way of looking and experiencing life, which is the point of this program, is for us to learn these lessons in deeper wisdom so that we can become our better selves, the best version of ourselves that we can be at the time, and we can pass that information and that way of thinking on to other people so that they can help. So it can help them to have a better experience for themselves as well. Because if you got wisdom and you got a little bit of understanding about something, you picked a little bit of a gem of knowledge out of the universe, the best thing you can do with it is pass it on and spread it to other people. So that's the goal.
Yeah, love it.
What's your last words, HT?
My last words is follow the light bulbs. I think I don't have to explain what a light bulb moment is to most people.
True.
You know when you get that light bulb moment. They're your ahas, or those moments that feel good, or those moments that you pass along to other people that make you feel good and them feel good. It could be a thought, it could be a thing, it could be a moment, it could be anything. But follow those light bulbs.
Keep your eyes open. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. So this has been Nate Shan and my boy
Higher Thoughts.
These are lessons in deeper wisdom. We want to thank everybody for coming and joining us on this time. We got plenty more. We're going deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole. So join us on our next show, and we will see you very, very soon. Blessed be.
Peace.